Hi, it's Vicky here from the Marketing Made Social podcast, and welcome back to the pod for 2026. I'm delighted to have you here. And if you're here, it's because you want to hear more about how to run social ads for your small business. Or you might be a social media manager who is being made to run ads for someone else. Or you're an ads manager that just wants to hear some tricks and tips for how to run ads for your clients as well. And today we're not going to be learning about ads specifically. We're not talking about Meta or LinkedIn or TikTok or Google. We're going to be talking about planning and planning around your ads in particular, because ads work best when they're planned, not when you're panicking. And I'm recording this as of January 2026, and it's the first time ever for my own business I'm actually doing the planning for the year this month. Like in the past, I've always done this big rush to put a plan together at the end of the year in December. But I was so busy in December last month, getting client work delivered, just trying to spend some really good quality time with my daughters and my family as well. And I just didn't have time. So I made the executive decision to do my planning for the year in January. And it's been a game changer because there's space and calmness that exists in January that does not exist in December. So if you can just take one thing from this episode, just in the first few minutes, it's that doing your planning for the year in January, provided you've already done the planning for January last month, is a game changer, and you should take advantage of this. One of the other reasons I thought I'd put this episode in particular together is because a lot of the conversations I have with people who want to kind of come and work with me in my agency, Marketing Made Social, is that they're often at a point where they're panicking and they want to switch ads on because business isn't so good. And that always rings alarm bells for me, because ads are not like a magic bullet. You shouldn't just switch ads on when times are tight. And that is what we're going to be talking about today, is how to avoid that panic, because ads shouldn't be emotional. They should be strategic, and having an idea about what you're going to push with ads this year, when you're going to push it, which is really important, timing is really important, and how much you're going to put behind that, means that you can calmly come to each part of those campaigns and pushes this year in 2026, knowing what you're going to do. Hopefully you're going to get a lot out of this episode. As usual, go and grab a notepad and pen and take notes as you listen, or you can feed this into ChatGPT if you want to. Take the YouTube link and kind of tell ChatGPT to give you a summary. So let's get started. A common mistake I see a lot of business owners, in particular, it's always business owners doing this, because ad managers and social media managers are a little bit more savvy about this. Business owners want to turn ads on when they haven't been running them in a while, because sales are dipping. Or they want to start running ads for the first time because sales aren't kind of coming in through organically. There is this weird expectation. I still can't figure out where it's come from. Maybe there's some big influencers out there who've made it look really easy, but a lot of business owners out there expect ads to create momentum out of nowhere and don't take into account that we're working on a platform here that's controlled by a whole bunch of algorithms, and it needs training. And so what happens is they start running ads. They don't work immediately because there's an emotional pressure for those ads to work immediately. And then they waste their money and say, ads don't work for me. And that just loop happens so many times. And I kind of get it. If there's that expectation that ads should work straight away. I can understand why there's disappointment. Let me reassure you that they don't. What you have to do, especially if you've never run ads before, is you have to train the algorithm on Meta, and let's pick Meta in particular here, with signals that can help it find your audience. And this takes time. Like if you've never run ads before, if you've never added a tracking pixel to your website before, you're going to have to give it a few months for things to start working. You're going to have to add that code to your website, allow Meta to see who comes and goes to your site, who buys from you, and then it can start to build up a profile of users or who have bought from you, who buy from your competitors, and then who they're likely to show any ads to if you were to run ads. And that stuff takes time. Meta's got all of this amazing kind of information on every user, though. It kind of analyzes where users go around the entire internet and the actions that we take, and it kind of builds up profiles on all of us. It has that information, but it takes time to kind of build that profile up in relation to how it can show ads for you, right? If you have run ads before and you've kind of got that tracking in place, you need to do things like, if you're an e-commerce business, is adding signals to the platform like a list of your customers or a list of your leads and people on your email list, and allow it to run ads to a broad enough audience where it can start to figure out who's clicking and kind of who isn't. And that's when the work comes into play, as to putting the right creative together and the right offers and the right words, as opposed to finding the right people. And again, this can take time. If you're already selling your offer organically and it's doing really well, what ads will do is amplify that and find more of those people for you. And that's great. And if you haven't nailed that bit, like if you're not selling organically, go and use organic channels better to find out how you can resonate with your ideal customers better. Because that's free, as in it's not going to cost you money. It's only going to cost you time to kind of put those messages together and kind of play around with things. Now, you can expedite that process using ads, right? But you have to be in the mindset that you might not get a return on your ad spend. Right? So figure out, where are you in this journey at the moment? Are you someone who has never run ads before? Or what you're going to have to do is get some budget spending and investigate and find the audiences, who are going to buy from you, right? And allow that to be all you do for the next quarter. If you have run ads before and you've kind of got that tracking in place, and maybe you've had some sales or some leads here or there, your job is going to be figuring out, okay, what offers and creative am I going to combine to increase those leads and kind of increase those sales as well. So you need to decide what camp you're in. Now, we're going to move on to camp 2 now, the experienced people, right? If you've not run ads for a particular product or offer before, again, you're going to have to give the platform time to understand if this offer or this product is going to resonate with your audience. So you're going to need to factor in testing time for that. Now, testing time really depends on how much you can spend at any one time. The more you spend, the quicker the results that you can conclude, right? If you have got a modest budget, again, you're going to need to factor in time to test and understand if a particular offer and creative and product is going to resonate with your audience. So if you don't put that planning piece in place before you actually start running the actual campaign to that thing, whether it's a lead gen offer or, a kind of like a product offer, then it's just, again, not going to work, right? So you need to think about that calendar over the year next. So some of you listening to this are going to be product businesses, right? So you're going to be selling like direct to consumer, right, straight from your website. there's going to be products on your website that are already selling, right? And if not, see earlier advice about going and testing organically. Really, you only want to be running ads if you know you can actually sell the kind of product that you're offering. But let's assume you are already selling that product. You might have a bestseller on your website, like a hero product, a product that is going to be doing all of the heavy lifting. So take a step back and look at your Shopify data or your WooCommerce data and kind of look at when your product sells the most and the least throughout the year. And then think about how you can then use ads to amplify when it sells more, as opposed to trying to pick it up during the downtimes. So my example here is if you are a knitwear brand and you're selling big chunky knit jumpers, and that is your best selling product December, January, February, and you look at your Shopify data and you see they don't sell as well in June, July, August. The reality is it's probably because people aren't buying big chunky knit jumpers in June, July, August, right? They're most likely to be buying those things in winter. Now, you might be thinking, well, if I spend more on ads in those in the summer, I'll be able to bring the sales for that particular product up. But the reality is that just isn't an offer that your audience are going to resonate with in the summer, right? And actually, you could make more money amplifying that offer during the times when that product is selling more, right? So you can't sell everything all the time, right? You have to be really mindful of that. And for like lead gen people, if you're selling like an information product, maybe it's a coaching course, or it's like a how-to course. Again, you need to be mindful that July, August, people are away on holiday. They're unlikely to buy an information product and sit and learn it. But January, September, these are amazing times to sell information products because people have the time and the inclination, because September is like a back to school time here in the UK, to kind of sit and kind of do information learning. So some months are for selling, some months are not for selling, and you need to plan your ads around that. Not try and force an offer during the quieter times with ads when it just won't work. Is instead use ads to amplify when those products are more likely to sell. So as you start to map that out into your calendar, you might see, okay, I'm going to have a quiet winter, but a really great summer. So your ad spend is perhaps going to be very low or non-existent in those quiet times over sort of the winter, and much bigger over the summer. And that revenue is just reflecting the seasonality and timing and the kind of human behavior that is a really key part of how ads run across these platforms. So you can't expect ads to fix slow months. So what will you do instead during those slow months to help your business? Now, these are times when you could do lead gen and build up your email list. If you are an e-commerce business where you do all your sales for Black Friday and Christmas, you could be doing that lead gen list building in the late spring, summer, right? And building that lovely list out, and then putting your Black Friday offers through the testing period of, say, September into October, and then selling to that list that you spent half the year building up in November. I think when you think about ads in this way as well, you might get a reality check about some of the offers that you're putting forward to people as well. So if you have a tried and trusted offer that works really well, but you decide to take ad budget away from that to test a new offer, then the reality is that you're putting more risk on that new offer working than if you'd taken that ad budget and put it into the tried and tested offer that will make you revenue. So it should start to get you thinking about the reality of kind of where your spend is going. And again, I've worked with so many business owners in the past who've come to me because they create a brand new offer every quarter and then don't understand why they're not making revenue at the end of the year. Like, if you have an offer that works really well, then repeat it, but just put more ad spend into it. Right. And if you do want to trial a new offer, then just take into consideration that it might not work, especially if you put ad budget into it as well. So, are there things in your business that you potentially have been putting ad spend behind but shouldn't have been? Have you been trying to run ads in your business during a time when they're just not going to ever work? The question is, do you feel a bit uncomfortable thinking about some of these offers? Do you worry that they're not going to resonate with your audience? Well, if that's the case, then make sure that you put into your calendar time to plan and test that with your audience first before you then go and put a budget. So if you do have a new offer that you want to push out in September, is it worth thinking about running ads to that offer in August just to test to see if users would click on it and find it interesting? If you have a Black Friday offer that you want to push next year, then using September to test some of your products and offers is going to be vital for you before you put all of your cash behind that campaign in November. If you have an offer coming up for the summer, making sure that you test that before the summer even begins, rather than switching ads on in June, which is something I just see again and again and again. Like, having time to do that testing means you won't waste your ad budget if it doesn't work. And instead, you can go away and fix that offer and find out what it is that doesn't resonate with the audience before you even spend a penny. So, just to summarize on this episode, I want you to go away and think about the offers that you want to make to your ideal customer this year and the products that you want to sell to them. When it's most likely that your ideal customer is going to buy those offers and products. And if you are ready to go, like, the message and the creative that you have will resonate with that audience, or if you need to test your offer and creative with that audience first, and then map that into your year, big piece of paper, a big pencil, write out all of the months, write out when you're going to sell, if you need testing time beforehand, and then give yourself time to do that testing and give yourself time to run a campaign to find that audience as well. So just be mindful that an audience buying a Valentine's Day offer isn't going to respond to an ad that they see on New Year's Eve, right? But they are likely to respond to an ad that they see probably by mid-January. A Mother's Day offer is something people aren't going to, in March, isn't something people are going to resonate with until probably the end of January or February. A summer offer, unless it's like a holiday where you have to like pay months in advance, isn't going to relate to someone when they're looking out of their window and it's hammering down with like the worst wind and rain that we've seen in weeks, right? And so just be mindful of what you're selling and when, and then map that into your year and make sure you give yourself enough time to sell your thing as well. Black Friday, I think you've got a whole month now to sell your offer. I think Christmas, you've got 2 to 3 months now, which is great. I think summer, depending on how early and warm the weather starts, you've got a few months as well. But things related to specific days like Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, bank holidays, back to school are going to have kind of like a finite time frame as well. So you need to think about the psychology about when people will resonate with those too. So brain dump all of that, put that into the plan that you've kind of just mapped out using your paper and pen, and then start to add dates in as to when things may start and when they need to end. And then for your campaigns. And then make sure, if you've never run those before and you do need to test them, that you've given yourself like 3 to 4 weeks of testing time beforehand to test creative styles or to test like specific messaging. And what that means is if you're doing like a Valentine's Day offer, for example, and it's like a 10% offer of your product, do 10% offers work? Like, because you can't do a 10% Valentine's Day offer in January, right? But what you would be able to test is if a 10% offer works in general. And then look to previous campaigns and see how they've done, and then start to emulate the kind of same style and the same creative, and kind of be repeatable and boring. If you know a particular influencer works in your ads, use them again. If you know a particular style works in your ads, use them again. And you can just rinse and repeat like the same way that you do campaigns throughout the year. And then the final piece is understanding the budget that you need to put against those things in order to get them to work. So if your entire annual budget needs to go on Black Friday and Christmas, because you are someone who sells gifts that only relate to Black Friday and Christmas, then plan accordingly. Don't be spending all your budget in January, February, March. You need to be spending the majority of that towards the end of the year. If you are someone that can sell a product throughout the entire year, though, just be mindful, right, that there is going to be fatigue related to your offer, and you may need to update your creative and change the way that you're talking about your offer as well. So you're going to have to factor that in particular to your planning as well. So hopefully you found this episode useful. And if you can take away one thing from what I've been saying today, is that you just shouldn't switch ads on in a reactive way. Like, you should know when you're going to switch ads on and off this year, and you should know if something is going to work or not in terms of the offer that you're putting across. And you should know when you need to have testing time. If you don't have any of those things, now is the time to do that planning. You've got January to do that. It's calm, it's a clear month, and then you can make the decision about what you need to sell and when. And then get really boring. Just keep selling that thing repeatedly, and then make sure that if you're selling another thing, that you've given it time to test and find its place, and then sell that thing repeatedly. Thanks again for listening, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.